It is hot as hell out here. So before I start, this guy that commented this, he's like my best friend. Like, I talk to him all the time, and he's way smarter than me. He could definitely beat me in a debate. He's a friend of mine that's like a Christian, and he's like really educated. Like, he knows his stuff and has a lot of sources when it comes to a lot of the stuff that he says. As far as like the fine-tuning argument, personally, I just don't think it's a really good argument. I've done a video on the fine-tuning argument, and the video that I did about the fine-tuning argument, I did it responding to this creator, I Am Q-Top. I used to follow him, but after one of his videos where he was endorsing PD30 activities and using the Bible to support it, I'm not really sure about that one, Chief. But like, I understand what the fine-tuning argument says ultimately. Like, in our universe, there are things that are very detailed. Like, if the Earth was a single like mile out of line, if the Earth was like a couple miles out of line, then everything would go to disaster. Gravity wouldn't really work. Our Earth wouldn't be heated the way that it's supposed to heat. The tides wouldn't move the way that they're supposed to. When it comes to our genetics as human beings, there are a lot of things that are very specific in our DNA that allow us to live as human beings. There are things in life that are very special down to the detail, and if the detail was off by just a little bit, then things would be thrown out of order and there would be a whole bunch of chaos. That's really great. It's an amazing scientific observation, but just because things are special on one hand, doesn't mean that God exists in another hand. The point of science is to better understand our world and understand the reasoning behind why things work. And you know, when it comes to like the detail of our world, yes, there's definitely math involved in the fine-tuning argument. But I don't think that automatically equates that God exists. Christians say because things are special, because the world is beautiful and everything is special down to the detail, there must be a creator. And that's not a good argument. I feel like it really just like does away with all the hard work you have to do to prove that God created the universe, and you make a giant leap saying that God created the universe because the universe is so incredibly special. Like, there's work you have to do to connect God to the universe. You haven't seen him create a universe, and you have to demonstrate how God could have possibly acted and made grass grow, or made trees grow, or made everything exist that exists around us, essentially. There's a huge unexplained gap whenever you say that whenever you use the fine-tuning argument. Just because things are special doesn't necessarily mean God. And in using this argument, essentially, like, if we were to use this argument as a valid argument for the Christian God, what's stopping somebody from using it for the Greek gods? You know, everything is special, so it must have been the Greek gods. Or everything is special, so it must have been the giant spaghetti monster. Or everything is special, so it must be Santa Claus. No matter what God you use for the fine-tuning argument, there's always that space between creation and your God, and you have to explain in that space how your God created everything around us. You have to come up with you have to find a way to demonstrate God in action, or demonstrate how God is connected to the creation, but you can't just make that leap. I was going to make a video about this, and I'm glad that this comment was brought up. And when I say what I'm about to say next, it's not aimed at this account, this comment. Again, we're like best friends, and he's honestly part of the reason I'm learning about Christianity. He's one of the ways that I'm able to learn about Christianity. He suggests a lot of books to me and suggests a lot of videos to me. He's a very smart, intellectual Christian. But for all the other Christians out there, can we all just agree to stop using the fine-tuning argument, because it doesn't make sense and it leaves a gaping hole that you have to explain when connecting creation to God, and it's just not a good argument. There's a lot in there that you have to explain. There's a lot. It's not a good argument. It's a huge gap. It just leaves a hole. I think the fine-tuning argument is actually kind of lazy. Just because something is special doesn't mean that there is a creator necessarily. I guess I can sort of see how you can say that, something exists, there must be a creator, but like it's very hard to explain that or attach that to your God, and it doesn't necessarily, actually, just because something is special doesn't necessarily even mean that there is a creator. Ultimately, the question is, we're trying to find what created that thing. Maybe it's a God, maybe it's a human being, maybe it's whatever it may be. We're trying to figure out that source. It doesn't automatically mean that it is a creator. For example, we know that rain is created by the water cycle and it comes from the clouds. And it's not a human being that creates rain. It's the natural processes that occur on Earth that create rain. And we're able to know this because we figured it out through scientific tests and studies, and we got to that point of conclusion. When it comes to the creation of the universe, when it comes to the creation of everything around us, life is beautiful, special, amazing. But again, we don't know if a person created it. We don't know if a God created it. We don't know if an animal created it. We don't know if an orangutan created it. But that's the work that needs to be done. Just because things are special doesn't mean that there is a creator. The creator or the origin could be anything. And we only figure that out via science and via doing research. But that's really it. To me, it doesn't make sense. Christians, atheists, what do you think? Do you think the fine-tuning argument is a legit argument, or do you understand that there is a gap between God and creation, and you need to do the work to connect God to creation, to fill in that gap? That's why we do science. That's why we're looking and observing things around us, running tests, and coming up with systems based off of what we have observed. Christians, atheists, talk to me, comment, and tell me what you think.